Good evening. It's November 8th, 2023. It's 10:15 p.m. where I am. And with me here is Alex, who asked me to see if we can have a little discussion with our wonderful mom, Jean. You're in Florida. You have a beautiful family. You have 3 children. I think they range from 19 to 24?
Yeah.
And you have a wonderful husband, and you have a unique story. And so Alex thought, maybe it would be a good idea we have a discussion, have other listeners learn from your experience, see what you experienced. I've known, I think a little bit over a year that I've been involved in your family, and you are definitely the rock in the family, I would say. You've been a powerhouse. I don't know how you do it. Everybody has their own issues, right? And of course, you have to work on yourself as well. So it's been a journey, and Alex and I were, privileged to be involved in your life. It's been a blessing to learn from you as well, from your resilience and from your strength. And so we wanted others to hear that as well. So that's kind of my intro to you, Gene. Alex, did you? What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
no, I would just echo that. I would say, Gene, when we met, some of the first things that I felt was that you just have a strong um, passion to kind of keep on moving forward through all of these trepidations that you've had in your life with your family, and just like Christian was saying, um, you are that rock, and I think it's important that other people can hear your journey, your family's journey, the evolution of things that you've done and healing, and just give us some perspective, because it's just not one person in your family, it's several people, and it's all connected. So really grateful for you agreeing to be here tonight and share your story. So yeah, appreciate it.
Well, first, I feel like I won the life lottery. First, when I met Alex, and then you, Dr. Bogner. Like, I have 3 kids. My 2 older ones are less than 15 months apart. I'm dyslexic, executive functioning. I didn't start speaking until I was 5. So I knew that I would have children that would probably inherited the language or the learning disability. Um, I had them in intervention. They were doing well. I'm a retired police sergeant from the city. I did all of my career in low income poverty. I saw what parents shouldn't be. You grow up, mainstream medicine kind of instills in you, you're going to die if you don't get vaccinated. And that, to this day, I tell parents, before you even vaccinate, you need to really listen to older parents, and you also need to do your own research. And my 2 older children um, had adverse reactions to the flu vaccines. Rory was 21 months and Aaron was 33 months old. They split the dose, and Rory lost the ability to sit, to chew, to crawl. He was seen by the head of neonatal at Columbia, Dr. Driscoll. At 17 months, she signed off on him, saying he'll be mainstreamed. He just needs the speech and the OT. The same with my daughter. At 21 months, when I brought him back, she was in tears. She was like, "What happened?" And they've never had a regression documented like Rory's. It turns out we've been part of the Simon Complex study. 3 years ago, roughly, we did another part of the genome, and they called and they said, we have identified, it's exactly how you and Dr. Driscoll said. Rory had the CDH8 gene expressed after birth. So my daughter, Erin, she had normal intelligence at 3 years old. She lost IQ from the flu vaccine. I went into crisis mode. Besides just nonstop tutoring for Erin and therapies for Rory, I started the journey of biomedical back in like 2005 or 6. And now when you think about it, it was really primitive. I did chelation, I did hyperbaric, I've done diets, I've done everything. And I really didn't make any true headway. In between that, the kids kept on getting strep, sinus infections, and they just kept on bombarding us with antibiotics. My youngest, Ryan, was born in 2004. The exposure from 9/11, there's a study saying he was born with GERD that went undetected. They thought they did multiple tests. We were running here, there, and everywhere. And they felt that he had asthma. It wasn't asthma. It was the acid reflux after a while presents. They started him on Singular, which set off nonstop ear infections, courses of antibiotic, which kind of put him in the tailspin also. Ryan's never been vaccinated. Erin and Ryan, the last vaccines they received were in 2002. Erin has regained most of her IQ. She'll be graduating. She finishes college. She only needed one extra semester in December. Rory, the amount of progress is unbelievable. Since starting with the gut balancing and then the lotion, Rory is speaking more, he's reading. Rory transitioned last February into adult services. From the time of his regression, we've done 7 days a week of schooling. He came home, he would receive 2 to 3 hours of therapies after school. I just never wanted him to self-stim. I needed him to be engaged, even though he was so trapped and disconnected. All that work that we've put in for the last 20 years is spilling out now. I'm just trying to look at some of the things. There's videos of Rory all of a sudden starting to speak, answering questions. He regained pointing. Rory's one of his true passions was hippotherapy. He started on the horse at like age 4 or 5. We used to do PT and OT on the horse. 4 years ago, when he developed the strep infection that turned into PANS, we had to stop riding because he just was so electrified. After a couple of cycles with Alex with the gut balancing and then with the thiogenics, we started horseback riding in April. We had a 1-day trial, and I didn't know if he would get accepted into the session, the 8-week session. Rory did remarkable the first day. There's so many changes in gross motor, in language, in cognitive ability that everybody keeps on asking. Rory, we just ended the fall session, and every week, Laura, her husband Bruce, who are the directors of the special needs hippotherapy locally, just kept on saying this was the best session he ever had. Well, this past Monday was the final session for the fall. Rory went around the ring twice independently. Now, 4 years ago, Rory needed 4 people, 3 spotters, and then the lead on the horse. Rory is independent. Not only did he do 2 laps around the arena by himself, he posted. And posted is where you get the horse where you're trotting almost. And like Laura was in tears when she was just like, I just don't understand how every time he's coming, we don't have kids that progress like this. And especially nonverbal and the lower functioning kids. His prompt speech teacher has been with us for like 7 years. And she never encouraged all of my efforts, but she never discouraged them. She was pretty neutral. There's a bowling league on Mondays, and I got enrolled Rory in, and it's one of her friends that runs it. So she came the first time, and she got in the car. Rory addressed her when he was bowling. When we were driving home, she just said, "Holy shitola, you cracked it. You did it. You finally broke him. He's not the same kid." And this is somebody who has 35, 40 years in the special needs community. And she keeps on trying to tell parents, you got to call this mom, you got to get on this protocol. And the biggest thing is, it's intimidating I don't even think that's the right word. I think the fear of failure for a lot of parents, or I can't tell you how many specialists that I've seen, and they just say, there's nothing we can do. This is, I was told when Rory was 3 years old, put him in a residential because I couldn't handle him. And look at him now. He's just thriving. I shared with you, Dr. Bogner, just his program brought in this spell to communicate. And Rory, all of those sight words, everything, he wrote in a complete sentence saying, like, I like spelling, but it's boring. I'd rather be outside. But he answered the 2 videos beforehand. He answered, and then he started pointing out the window. And then the instructor was like, what do you see? And he's there, the trees, and the leaves were blowing, and the branches. So Rory's in there. It's just unlocking takes a lot of research. And as I said, I spend a lot of time in different groups, and I just happened, remember how exactly I found Alex's group, but I joined it, and then I just started reading, and then I just said, I emailed them, I got the kit, and that's how this whole thing has blossomed. And we still have some work to do, but life has changed. We're not trapped. We're not isolated anymore. Rory went to Tim Tebow's prom this year. That's something that we couldn't do. We go to the special needs masses. We're bowling. We go to concerts. I don't have to say no anymore, or I can just pick up and start socializing again with Rory. Like we actually go places now. And that's something that came to an abrupt stop a couple of years ago. It was challenging prior, but Rory is talking. He's seeking out to communicate with you. He doesn't like being alone. If he's sitting on the couch with a book or with his iPad, he comes over, he takes me, and I have to sit down with him. It's just, if I get up, he just reintroduces the couch to me. And there's just like, if I'll say, Rory, we're leaving, he'll go get dressed. He'll get a coat. There's one of the that was the first session he's had.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you mind if I just blend that in here so you can explain what was going on here? Is that fine?
Sure.
Okay.
His program, the director Asher is just phenomenal, and one of the other parents introduced Asher. So Asher was like, I got to get these kids. And Rory was the shining star there. And he sent me 2 of the videos. That's another thing. You see where Rory's stimming? That used to be right up at his eye, that I would think he was going to poke his eyes out. Now it's down, since then, it's down to about his chest. So even his self-stims are rectifying.
Okay. So this was the first session with the spelling to communicate, you say?
It was.
And how long have you been doing the spelling to communicate?
That was the first one. I think that was what, in April? No, or even later, maybe June. And I'm doing more flashcards with him right now because I'm seeing such another huge cognitive growth that I'm looking into getting an iPad. I have to go over to Westchester Institute. They'll give me an iPad and train. So that's what I'm trying to get him used to the keyboard, because I think that's a more natural way to teach him, and he's capable.
Jean, can I ask you, you were mentioning how you found Alex. Could you tell me what your initial thoughts were when you've been through a lot? I mean, Rory's 22. You've done a lot. You're a veteran. You've seen a lot. Now, when you saw what Alex was doing, what got you interested in this, and then how did it go? How did you get engaged, and how difficult was it to?
I do a lot of research. At nighttime, I keep on researching, and I talked for years about the microbiome, and I thought about the fecal transplant, and I have 2 friends that have done it. And then just listening to Alex, it just made so much more sense. So I just started reading the files and listening to his presentations, and I just knew with I can't even count how many rounds of antibiotics Rory has been on, especially 15 years ago, where the knowledge wasn't so available. I avoid antibiotics at all costs now. I won't do any antibiotics because all 3 of my children have different deficits, and I really think it's that. And just when I found Alex, I knew I was onto something. And Alex, he doesn't hold your hand, but he is there morning, noon, and night. If you email him with the problem or a concern, he gets right back to you. He's always so helpful. And Rory, because of the PANS and the occipital neuralgia and things like that, Rory, we went through a long time with not the severe pain, and just recent strep infections, it has to be playing a huge part with the inflammation. When Rory was in 3rd grade, he started ripping the hair out of his head. He would crush batteries with his teeth. It was pain, and everybody kept on saying it was autism. It's a behavior, and it wasn't. It took us years to finally get the proper diagnosis. But Alex, just helped so much with when it started again a couple of months ago. The pain returned, and Alex helped me with making choices on getting him out of pain without using heavy duty narcotics and things like that Rory's had adverse reactions to. And I see the other parents in the group too that just are self-educated. They know what happened to their children. They've been researching, but Alex is the one who came forward and pulled it all together for us.
Gene, I remember you telling me because I never quite heard. Not that don't believe it at all, but I never heard anybody else tell me this, and it really resonated with me. Is I remember what you were saying when you were seeing all of these improvements with Rory. It was, obviously it was great, but it was actually more challenging because he was challenging you and becoming more interactive and it's kind of like a blessing, but it was more laborious for you.
Oh, it's a daily battle with Rory because now it's the cause and effect. Rory's functioning. Now he knows that if he doesn't want to do something, he's taller than me, and he knows how to lay down, or he has the longest arms too, or legs. He'll take something out of the kitchen that he's not supposed to have, or I don't want him to have. He'll run in his room. He'll try to close the door. He'll even take me and he'll smush me in the face. It's like a playful game, but I'm working to get him to comply now. I could get him to do anything, not anymore. And now he'll just go, no. And it's funny because it just shows the amount of cognitive ability that he does have and the understanding. He's more typical. And he does it at school too.
Gene, can you walk us through your journey on your experience of gut balancing? What were your thoughts? How did you learn about it? And then when you applied it, how difficult was it?
I found Alex on Facebook. Like, there are a lot of other different groups on Facebook that I belong to. The only other one that I really follow, and I'm not as involved with TACRA. Somehow I found Alex. I joined the group and I just started researching. All of us have we have really compromised guts, and we've done a couple of rounds. We're still working on it, but in between that, we had mold in the house. So we went through so there's a lot of mitigating, like it's just not one thing. And the gut balancing is solving a lot of the issues. And then the cream, the Diogenics, has just kind of supported it. So it's just moving us. I think you need to do both together. And I think somehow it's intertwined and it supports each other. And now with the powders, with the new supplements, I can't even tell you the difference. My husband has early onset Alzheimer's that's aggressive from the toxins from September 11th. He was a first responder. He had really bad PTSD. I had him in a residential. One of the doctors, when he moved in, put him on a week's worth of Miralax without even consulting. He had GERD. He had issues prior that were stable. I thought he had cancer. The bowel movements changed so much. We did an upper and a lower. We've been struggling with it. His bowel movements are much better. I started the cream again. He's been hospitalized since March. He spent 2 months in one hospital and then another 6 to 7 from August until the beginning of October. They just keep on hitting him with heavy medicines and stuff. I'm slowly getting him. He's home now. I started the Thiogenics with them again. When we did it prior to the last hospitalization in August, I started the cream. I had him almost completely toileted again. He was talking more. His self-care, he was holding the forks better. They messed up the medicine and it just crashed. He's another one that has such adverse reactions. He's been home a couple of weeks now. I started the powder. His bowel movements are almost normal again. And this is since last June. We've been struggling when they gave him the Miralax. He's had a lot of gibberish, and he had a lot of decline with this last hospitalization. He's able to communicate, especially his frustrations, but every day his language, it's not coming back where it's conversational, but like I'll go in the morning to get him prepped for the day, and some mornings I'm walking in and he's going, "Good morning," or he'll tell me, "Not now, go away." So that's a huge increase in such a short period of time. And now that I have him home, I'll be able to manage it better, and we won't have any more. We have a new doctor who was like, who put him on all of these medicines? They're all wrong. So we've been slowly bringing him off it. And Alex was pivotal in that too. And we started with you, and then with all these hospitalizations. Now I'm going to schedule something with you, just to go over, a consultation again. But it's all of us are just doing really well.
I remember when, because we looked at, several family members that, with the stool tests, and, it had that signature from what I was seeing that with this Prevotella overgrowth, that there would, because there were so many people in the house having it, I was saying that there has to be some kind of mold component. And I remember telling Dr. Bogner, we have to look into this family because we have to solidify this connection. And Christian, I don't know if you remember the mycotoxin test coming back and the elevations there, and then Jean, that's when you said that you did some remediation or you found it.
Yeah, and it was extensive. It was I have your typical New York bi-level or high ranch. You have 2 floors. I have 2 bedrooms. I have an in-law suite downstairs. We had water damage down there that I always addressed because I was always deathly afraid. I remember seeing like a documentary on some family that had a small water leak from the refrigerator and insurance wouldn't cover it. The whole house, they can't even take it down. And the husband ended up having cognitive impairment, like permanent from it. So for years, with any water damage I addressed, I had there was mold downstairs in the family room from Rory, flooding the ceilings. There were 2 bedrooms. There was some up in the kitchen upstairs, and then in the attic. Thank God we caught that, but we had to remediate. One of the air conditioning lines disconnected, and it was blowing air in it. And when we were doing the mold the second or third time I had the guy come back, he said, "Let me just check." And you could actually see the black mold starting. So the whole attic, everything was tossed and remediated.
And I flashed in here his initial mold test. You can see it was a urine test, checking, this is real time, checking the different groups of mold toxins, and you can see here he had two that were clearly elevated: the ochratoxin A and the trichothecene groups, which includes the black molds. And you can see they were clearly elevated. I think ochratoxin here is 200% above the upper normal, according to the reference range. And then the trichothecene group was 3.5 times, so 350% elevated. So yeah, there was a lot that you uncovered, it seems.
Yeah.
You did the balancing, you checked the microbiome for the bacteria, you knew there were mold toxins involved. And so when you started this protocol, how many rounds did you do with Rory?
I think we are up to 5.
Okay. And
we've been on a maintenance for a little bit just because with everything going on, I just, I haven't gone backwards, but we're on maintenance. And now with the powder has just made it so much easier. And I'm even seeing the benefits with the powder.
Did the practitioners and I guess the professionals that kind of see Rory on a daily basis, or the physicians, remember you had mentioned something that they had said that he was improving. Maybe if you can just say, some words from what they were saying.
Well, the neurosurgeon, because he has growths on his pituitary, so every year we have to do an MRI, and they found strep in his cerebellum a few years ago. So we checked his folate level. Dr. Tobias just can't get over how well Rory's doing. He can't figure out the pain. He couldn't figure out the pain part because he's saying that's not, is it the inflammation? I mean, he's been checked for everything. His endocrinologist, she said she just, every time she sees him, she's there like, most doctors keep on saying, you don't have a background in nursing or something? Because what you had. I had 2 beautiful children. Life was good. We were out biking. They were toddlers. We were looking into. I was going to be retiring soon. We were looking into buying a camper and just going to be out on the road. And then life happens. The endocrinologist sent the primary just saying like the words, every time I see him, the words are coming out. He understands. He's able to sit and attend. I even have people in church, or we do buddy ball. We've done all of that, and the people just one of the coaches came up to me and he said, "It's just so nice to see you and your son so comfortable and out and enjoying and relaxed." That was the funniest thing. You're actually sitting and relaxing.
No, I mean, you're the beacon for the family. I can only, what you have done to just help everyone, your husband, your daughter, your sons. So, I mean, you deserve a super award for being able to
Alex,
take that all.
Here, because I would, if I didn't find you, and then you and Dr. Bogner working with me, we would not have the quality of life we had. Like, I'm not a complainer, but people would always take pity on me. And that's one thing I don't, you get one life and you got to see the positives. You can't focus on the negatives. And
so, Jean, a lot of patients that we see, as the autism community is getting older, we see a lot of parents with older children, teenagers, beyond teenagers, or like Rory is 22, right? what message do you have? Because obviously you never gave up looking for answers, and then here you found maybe something that really worked. What is your message to those that say, oh, hey, it's too late, there's nothing that can be done?
Mainstream doctors, they, in 40 years of the autism epidemic, they still don't have a reason for it, and they've never done a double-blind study. So how are you going to tell me that you can't improve the symptoms that go along with autism? You know, there's different components. There's, some kids have seizures, some kids have the GI issues, other kids have such sleep disturbances, other kids have aggression. Well, you got to find the root cause. And Alex has figured out, or he's taken a different approach. Like, I followed James Adams for a long time, and he's a brilliant man, but nowhere near where Alex is. And Alex is addressing all the viruses, the bacteria and things. Rory, since he was a little kid, he has had every type of rash. He had, I don't know, the Christmas tree one. It has one of those really long ones. He's had that. He's had the lace one. He's been filled with viruses. Rory's titers, when he had only had one MMR at 12 months. When he was 5 years old, I asked the pediatrician to run his titers just to see the immunity. It caused such a nightmare in Rockland County in New York. Quest Lab, instead of calling the pediatrician, Rory was positive for measles, mumps, and rubella. He was at 3.2 for one and 2 point that they notified the Department of Health. The commissioner started calling me saying that you need to bring everybody who lives in the house home or quarantine you. You have a child, you have a person. They didn't know what the age, and said you have somebody who is positive for measles, mumps, and rubella. And I'm saying, no. We did the titers. It took me at least 5 minutes to get her to call the pediatrician. She called me back and she said, that's not a normal titers, that you can't vaccinate. And I said, well, I haven't vaccinated, and I have an autistic child now. And she was there, well, you cannot vaccinate and you can't vaccinate your other children. So, like, Alex is addressing, I haven't retested his numbers, but he's also taking care of the viruses. We've had numerous bacteria infections, and Rory's, all of us have it, the mold, the Prevotella. You have to address all of that. At Rory, when every specialist wouldn't say severe, they would use profound. They would say they've never had. And even the education, that when we started early intervention, one of the agency who came, he's a good friend now, Terry Blackwell. He knew if he didn't take Rory, nobody would. And now Terry sees Rory now every so often. I'll send him a video, and he can't believe the difference between the kid that was so trapped that you could stand behind him and hit a pot and he's not deaf, but there would be no response. He never lined up anything, but he never moved. He would just sit there, so trapped in himself. And he's really into music. Now he's bringing me books. I'm trying to think which level books should I be starting with. And he's really into animals. So we're doing a lot of, like, history and where certain animals live, because if he's writing full sentences telling you this spelling is okay, but it's boring and I'd rather be outside walking, that tells you that it's all in there and that he shouldn't be watching Barney or other things. He needs to be challenged.
Yeah, 100%. I can't agree more. I'm just, it's amazing. I know that you started using that lotion too. Maybe you can tell us about how long you've been doing that, and if you've seen any benefits, or what's your impression on the changes that you've seen in using it.
I think when did that? I think it was April or so. I'm the worst on time.
Probably, yeah, May, April, yeah.
Yeah, and almost immediately is pointing.
Wow.
And he points. That was something that he's lost, and he points daily now. And he'll, even if you don't catch him pointing or he wants to show you something, he takes the object to you, he'll point, and if you're not getting what he wants, he'll take your finger and he's like, "You getting it yet?"
Absorb the energy, and
Yeah, and like in April, the same thing. That's when he got on the horse, and that trial. I don't think that woman Laura thought that she was going to keep him, and the next day she's there like, "What day? Can you do?" I think we did Sundays at 9:30 in the morning. Like she was like, "I'll come in early so he can ride." I'm trying to think some more. In April, another thing, his speech teacher was working on the Z sound because it's a prelude to S. All of a sudden, I dropped Rory at school one day, and all of a sudden he's going zzz. And then I was like, "What's that?" And he goes, "Zipper."
Wow.
So, like, that's the words that he couldn't say. So between the gut balancing, within a couple of weeks, you just knew something was changing. His attention, his affect, his connectability, his understanding. I would say we're leaving. He would get his shoes, or he would go in and get dressed. Things that he's never done. The engagement, just wanting to sit with you, bringing you books. There's just, it has nothing to do with the age. I think maybe the younger kids with the oxidated stress and stuff, like I'm not so, up to, but like long-term damage. But I think the younger the child, you get them immediately, they might have a better outcome, but it's unbelievable. Like I am one of 6. I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters, and we're close. My oldest brother, I think it was in April and May, we went up to see him. We all live within 35 minutes of each other. And my brother always addresses Rory, talks to him, and he goes, "Hey, buddy, how are you?" And he goes, "Good. And you?" And like my brother started crying. My brother, a couple of weeks after that, just dropped by to drop something off, and Rory was going out with his worker, and he goes, "Hi, Uncle Dave." And my brother was like just speechless, like, the language, it's pretty consistent. Will he ever say Uncle Dave again? Maybe not, but he knows who names, he knows everything. And I just think you just have to commit. And looking at it on paper, the old gut balancing might have just been a lot. But if you just sat down, this is how I did it. I would just get 3 weeks going. I would just put cups, and then I would do it that way. But now I get up in the morning, I have coconut yogurt, I start Rory on 2 of them. I mix that in, and the other few things. Then I feed him, his breakfast, and then I go in. I start Jimmy the same way. I just give him a coconut yogurt with the stuff in it. It's not hard at all. I have to just set the timer on my phone because I'll even the lotion could be there right in front of me, and there's times I just forget to pump it and put it on. So that's it. That's just the balancing act. You just got to get organized, and I have no organization skills, but the video, everything. I just wish more parents would have faith and believe that their kids can heal and progress. I've never listened to all the things my child won't accomplish. That's something you kind of know what level they're going to be on, but I don't know where Rory's going to end up now. I have to hide my keys because if he decides he wants to go for a drive, he goes, he gets them, and I've lost a set of keys once or twice in the last couple of months, but he knows how things operate, and he knows where they go, and he'll tell me his wants and his needs. That's another thing that's new. And he still has a limited diet, but it's becoming a little more varied now too. That's another change.
Amazing. Wow, it's an amazing story. I mean, I'm just so happy to be a part of it, and having faith, in Dr. Bogner and I, and not just Rory, but the rest of your family too.
Yeah, I wake up and I'm optimistic. I know that we're on the right track, and you guys have figured out how to streamline it, and it's a really easy process now. So I would just tell parents, you just gotta be determined, and you just gotta start, and in a week's time you're going to start noticing little things, and then you're hooked, and just keep on moving forward.
Well, it's been a tough journey for you, Gene, and we're happy that you're seeing kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm sure it's not the end for you. You keep pushing, you keep looking, you keep researching, and would love to have you back. Of course, give us an update in maybe a couple months.
Absolutely, yeah. We're just seeing so many changes. As I said to Alex, I need to get a diary and just carry it around, because there's so many incredible wow moments that I'm just not touching on, that it's just, I don't wake up with a heavy heart anymore. I wake up and I'm ready to see what today brings.
It's I think it's going to be helpful for a lot of other people out there that might be stuck in a rut or think that they can't do something at a late stage. Everyone has a role to play, so I really appreciate you sharing your story.
Can always just give them my contact and have them reach out. Like, sometimes that's all they need is just to talk,
Yeah.
And I'll be more than glad.
Do you mind if I flash in your email address here?
No, not at all. They can friend me or PM me, and I will do whatever I can to help, because if I can manage with my executive function and everything else going on, and I'm seeing major changes, it's not that hard.
Wow, you're amazing. Gene, we are honored and privileged.
No, the honor is mine. It's just you guys have played such a pivotal role in the family dynamics. The way we lived prior, I don't, I couldn't leave the house with all three kids at one point. One would, like, if Aaron or Ryan had an event, one of them would have to stay home so I could go address it. Now we all go. There's just, and we have a future. It's brighter.
Well, thank you for all you do, Gene. We love your family very much, and thank you for giving us all hope that it's never too late. You certainly have demonstrated that with all that you do. You can be proud of yourself, I think.
No, it's people like you that intervene and come into your life and make it happen. So,
Well, likewise. We learn
We'll
from you.
keep doing it too.
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. With that being said, Gene, have a good night. Thanks for coming on so late. I know it's late where you are as well. You're probably exhausted. And we'll have you back on. We would love it. Continue
Sure.
following your family.
More videos and stuff, but any of the ones that I've passed on to you, just, feel free to use them and just show.
Okay. Well, thank you, Gene. You have a wonderful night, and thanks everyone for listening. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Gene. Take care. Good seeing you. Bye-bye.